Good morning, colleagues. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm hoping, too, that the weather is breaking for us so we can get outside a little more. Perhaps some of you are outside all the time with your work schedules. So we are now into Curriculum 304, Module 3, entitled Sample Direct Lesson Plan Deconstruction. And it's located under Module 3, Assignments and Rubrics. So when you open it up, let's go there now. We're in Canvas again for a curriculum. I wanted to just go over this with you. You are going to be looking at a sample of a direct lesson. So before you design yours, we're going to look at one so you can glean insight into perhaps how it was created, the 7 different steps, the format at the top, and just get an overall sense of what's going on. So I'm going to begin reading right under, in Module 3, the yellow part that says Module 3, Sample Direct Lesson Deconstruction. It says, before you begin the actual construction of your own direct lesson, number 1, it's critical, and it is, number 1, that you deconstruct a sample direct lesson given a set of queries, which are inquiries, right? Questions, and respond within that rubric that allows for a detailed analysis of each step. So what you're doing is you're going to look at a lesson, given some questions that I'm posing, and you're going to respond. This takes you deep into the context of making curricular decisions, cognitively trying to figure out what's going on with this lesson prior to me giving you the tutorial, step by step of the direct lesson. It provides you with a deeper knowledge base and higher level of curricular process comprehension, and it will allow you to discern what's going on. Much like when you get curriculum and content in your teaching, you'll have to discern it, figure it out, build a lesson plan. So in here I did write, you'll be totally amazed at your level of discernment and your ability to take apart a lesson plan. That will catapult you into student teaching. So as I mentioned here in module number 4, you will be designing your own direct lesson with the steps and a tutorial. So this is like a preparation module. So this is absolutely critical for your conceptualization and ability to operationalize taking your own set of lenses with some query questions, and breaking it down and taking it apart. So that's the overview. That's where we're headed. Again, this is a high-level curriculum project. I don't want you to freak about it. I don't want you to go too deep in it. Just give me your best take on it. So step 1, if you'll come down under this little Dr. Seuss little quick pick here. It's so cute, so adorable. We're into step 1. And you can basically read that for yourself. I'm going to give you a chance to read that real quick. Okay, so you're going to review. You're going to scroll down, and under that long line, there's a black line with yellow highlighter. It's a direct lesson sample lesson plan, okay? I want you to just read through it. Just read through it. Don't put any set of lenses to it. Just read through it. Kind of like you're reading the first chapter of a book. As you're going through, what I want you to do is go, Just get a sense of what's going on with it. So after you've done that, we are going to now begin to respond to the questions below. All of your responses, every one of them, it can be coupled with maybe some things you write on paper that you may show me, or certainly you're going to have your notes by you, but this is an oral response. I need you to be able to articulate orally what's going on. One of the biggest challenges that student teachers have is not being able to engage in the content and engage with colleagues. So this is practice, practice, practice here in practicum for that. So all of your responses that you will give me, you can use your notes. You could hold up something for me to see. Some of you have had your cute little dogs in the background. You can hold your dog up. It's all good. You can have your hot tea, your herbal tea. Take a couple sips during your presentation. It's all good. But I want you to command a presence. I want you to show me that you can be engaged. I want you to get into the content. Get into the explanation. Be passionate about it. And certainly I am seeing an uprising, which is great in your passion, and I sure appreciate it. So let's go down we're still in step number 1. The larger font in yellow says all responses to the below rubric will be on video or YouTube. Cool. So here we go. We're in number 1 under section called step 1. So you are going to look at each one of the components in the format section. The format section in the first page of the sample lesson plan, the first half page at the top, you'll locate and see the format. The format runs all the way from where it says format to where it says the last component, which is objective. Focus strictly in number 1 on just the format section. That's it. So you are going to discuss each of the individual components in the format section, each one of them. Tell me about what you're seeing. What are you seeing? Now that's a very open-ended question, isn't it? Yes, it's meant to be open-ended so that you yourself can take the wider lens called open-ended and you can shrink it down, right? Shrink it down. What do you see is critical to relay to me that you are seeing about each one of these items in the format section, okay? And lend insight into it in how it was designed. So if I'm looking at Kermit the Frog, and I am going to break down Kermit the Frog, Kermit T. Frog here. I've always wanted to be able to talk like Kermit. It's not working real well, is it? Don't give up my day job to be Kermit the Frog. But if I'm analyzing Kermit and I'm going to see how that little brother is designed, I'm going to see that he's a puppet, hence a Muppet. I'm going to see that he's green. I'm going to see that he has a very wide mouth because he's a frog. And he's very reflective. So I'm going to calculate that and then I'm going to relay that on my video. Okay? So it's easier when we're looking at an example than it is, of course, a character. No question about it. But you are going to break down each of those components and you are going to figure out, how do you think they were designed? What went into it? And you're going to have to think critically. I'm not looking for any one right answer that fits all. I'm looking for your insights. You have to continue to grow as critical thinkers in the context of curriculum. This is extremely critical in your first year. It's critical now for teachers who are having to put together course packs for their children to be sent home or to digitally upload them. They have to make high-level curriculum decisions, right? It's not like day-to-day teaching where they hand you that textbook and it's all written out for you. Oh, now they're now embracing some skill sets from long ago, right? So we're now in step 1, number 1. You're going to break down each component in the format section. And you're going to dialogue using your notes. Now, you're not going to read off your notes like, okay, section 1, format, let's see, standard. No, you're not going to do that. You can have your notes with you. You can refer to them. I refer to notes all the time on the tutorial, right? So give me your best stuff. So now we're in to part B under step 1, number 1, discussion of the relationship between the standard and the objective. The standard and the objective are BFFs. They hang out together all the time. There's a lot of similarities, and yet there's distinct differences. Tell me about them. Tell me about the relationship among the objective and the standard. Discuss that. What do you see? What do you see? So that is in the first part of your oral presentation. Coming down, the next part, under step 1, section 1 is part C. So that will be on page 2 as you scroll down in your module. Now, the next step here, step C, you're going to view the title. Look at that long puppy. Whoa, right? That's a long title. It's not like a normal elementary unit plan title. It's not like All About Michigan. I've seen that as a title. Or The Great Lakes, quote, the title. Or The Industries in Michigan, quotes. No, this is much more intense. You've got to think critically and deliver simply, right? Think critical, deliver simple. So I want you to analyze that. Look at that title. What is going on in that title? See if you can discern, as you break apart that title, what the messages are. What is it trying to say? And remembering that your title should foreshadow the lesson. So those are parts A, B, and C in step 1. Let's go to step 2. You're going to scroll down to the sample lesson. Just a second. You're going to scroll down and you're going to look in particular at direct lesson steps 1 through 7. Direct lesson step number 1 is called anticipatory set activity. Step 2, objective. Step 3, purpose. Step 7, independent practice. We're now under that part of the format. Okay? You will also see there, it's underneath the engagement norms. And you've just completed or are in the process of completing the module on engagement norms. And you're doing a fabulous job. So you know what engagement norms are. So here we are, step 2, number 2. You will orally be discussing each individual step in the sample lesson from anticipatory set all the way through independent practice. Discussing each step in the context of the A, B, and C below. So you will be orally discussing each step and then elaborate on part A, B, and C. So let's go to part A. In each step, in each one of those 7 steps, go through them, give me just a brief rundown of the specific role that you're gleaming in anticipatory set. What's the role of the teacher? What's the teacher doing in the objective, the purpose, the input and modeling, checking for understanding, guided practice, independent practice. What is the role of the teacher? Okay? Give me what your conceptualization is of the role. What are you reviewing? Tell me about that. Articulate it to me. Now we're still in step 2. Number 2, part B. Discuss how students are engaged physically and cognitively in each step. So now I'm taking my lenses and I'm still in each step. What are the students doing physically and cognitively? Now, it might be kind of challenging because you can't see the classroom, right? So you're going to have to look for clues. This is kind of like clue game, right? It may not tell you what's going on, but you need to draw inferences. And you could draw an inference that they're sitting watching the teacher. Hopefully they're not hanging by the lamp post. So if you're not able to discern that, you can draw inferences, or you can just say, in the context of the step, it did not say. It did not say. So don't make up a big story. If you don't see it, You can draw an inference, but if you don't want to draw an inference, that's cool. Just say it is not shown in this particular step. When it comes to cognitively, that is a different matter. Because cognitively, if the students have to do something, and in the doing, they're not showcasing physically what they're doing in this lesson, there are cognitive tasks that the students are doing. Tell me what they're doing. What does your mind tell you that they're doing? Think about the cognitive tasks that you're doing in each one of these modules. Very challenging modules. What are the tasks that you're doing? One of the tasks here is you're deconstructing. You're going to look at that lesson design. You're reviewing it. That's a task. You're analyzing it. You're discerning. You're comparing and contrasting. So in each step, how were the students engaged physically and cognitively? Part C, how did the author, it should say the author, how did the author of this lesson utilize visuals? So as you scroll down, you will see a lot of visuals in there. You will see them. Why have visuals? Why did they use them? Many of you, when you're showcasing on videos to me, you use visuals. You show me. You have a visual there. Why? Why did the author of this lesson use visuals in the context of the steps? So it's going to require that you go through each step. And are there visuals that are displayed for the students? And the answer is absolutely there are. Why? Why in the context of the objective was the visual there? What do you think? Okay. So colleagues, again, this takes you to a place where you're having to discern. You're at a higher order level of thinking. And I'm excited to see what you have. So now we are on step 2 still. We have 2 steps left. Too bad Mongolian barbecue's not open. We could meet up there and stir fry and go over this thing in Ann Arbor, right? Step 3. Within the input and modeling section, which is step 4, speak to the following. Articulate to the following. Engage in the following. Show me what you got in the following. Rock it out in the following. This is how you do it. Remember Montel Jordan that one of our colleagues demonstrated the rap? This is how you do it. This is how you do it. You look at exactly what's required and you do it, right? It says, using research, what components are to be included in the input modeling section? What components? You're now going to seek out the URLs. You're going online. Wow, my bad self is going online. And my bad self is going to say, I need to probably put in my search engine direct lesson and input and modeling. That might be a good start. Because if I just put in input and modeling, that could take me to how to trim the nails on a cat. So I want to focus in on direct lesson. And in the context of direct lesson, I want to also put in my search engine input and modeling. And I want to see what the research says about it. So I'm using research and I'm looking at components that they are suggesting needs to go in. Components that are in input and modeling. What's in the recipe? My husband made some delicious ribs last night. And he went online to Famous Dave's and he did the dry rub mixture. So he went out and got the dry rub mixture with his mask on and rubber gloves, right? Don't we all look like hot messes out there with the rubber gloves and the mask on? Yes. So he went out there and he had to find out the components that was in the dry rub. So he went online, right? He went on a URL. He put Famous Dave's dry rub mixture. And he found it. So if he had to articulate that, he would have told me, here's the different components in here that I found online for the rib rub. Same thing. Very simple. Not as exciting and as delicious, but it's the same thing. Using research. Not your own. What is the research saying? what goes into the input and modeling section. Cite the research. So tell me where you went to get the research. I went on a particular website that's called Direct Lessons Are Us. I don't think that exists. And there was a researcher in there called Dave Thomas, just made that up, who says that in the input and modeling section, there are 3 important items in there. Number 1. So tell me about that, okay? Now we're on the last one. No, we're not. We're on the second part of part 3. Discuss how the author of this lesson plan utilized the 5 W's. The 5 W's, you're going to have to find that. It's in the lesson. The who, what, when, where, why in designing the content. Because in the next module, you are going to be using those 5 W's, who, what, when, where, why, in creating and discerning the content and building that section, because it's the most important section in the direct lesson. This is the lecture part of it, okay? Basically, you're going to find out that the direct lesson is lecture with a plethora of student engagement. Now, in college, the number 1 strategy is lecture, but it's not directed instruction, because in many instances, you are going to see that these steps are not in our lectures. It's basically sit, get, and sometimes you want to quit, right? So I want you to look at those 5, who, what, when, where, why. Discuss these. How and why are these 5 W's critical to design content for students? Number 4, discuss how this process, I'm on number 4, under step 2, number 4. Discuss how this process, the process that's above that you've gone through, will influence specifically how you will design your direct lesson number 1. Okay? So I'm also going to be uploading practicum tonight, and it's going to be minimal. It's basically going to be examining the course pack and perhaps another small video. I don't want to overload you. So this is extremely important. So you're just going to reflect on everything that you've calculated here. You're going to tell me, how does that influence what you do? So I know my husband is like, oh man, hey, I found this dry rub stuff. It's really good. It's going to influence how I make my next set of ribs. Maybe I put in too much, cayenne pepper. So I'm going to leave a little less. I'm going to leave it out next time. Maybe I might add, rock salt. So it's, how does it influence the process that you went through? How does that change how you conceptualize your thinking of your direct lesson? And then you're going to upload your video to Canvas and send it to me, making sure I can open it. I know it's been a struggle. And I want this to knock it out of the park. Grand slam. Grand slam. Grand slam. You do not have to dress like a professional going to an interview. Do I look like a professional going to an interview? I wouldn't wear your jammies, on camera, of course, because that's not at all professional. Just wear your jeans and t-shirt or your sweatpants, just like you've been doing. You look great, right? You look great. You look professional for Shelter Down. Yay. So, as always, email me, call me, and I'm here to serve you. I care greatly for you guys. I'm looking outside and there's sun. Imagine that, in Michigan, sun. It doesn't go together. So I will hopefully talk with you soon, and I will be in touch. Remember, Module 2 for practicum opens tonight. And for those of you who are special education majors, I will also be sending out an email with that on it. Thank you so much, and bye for now.